3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're having a good one. I've got a review for the latest M. Johnson offering coming out of First Bloom Films, which is this film called Balloon Animal, which stars Katherine, Waddell, Ilya Volok, who you know from several things, including Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, Air Force One, Gemini Man, to name a few. But this movie in particular follows Catherine's Poppy, who is the daughter of Ilya Volok's character, who's named Dark Valentine, which is an amazing name, especially for the circus. And long story short, it really is about Poppy discovering her independence and figuring out who she is, you know, as a woman, as a person, as a performer, maybe independently of what she's known her whole life. But I want to talk real quick about Katherine Waddell. So she's done quite a few things. She's a writer, she's a producer. She was in this film called Dinner in America. She was a producer on this film We Need to Do Something. There's this movie called Blush that she's also involved in as well. So she's definitely gone ahead and done some stuff. I wasn't familiar with her work, but she's someone I definitely am like, okay, I need to go ahead and keep my eye on you, because I think she's absolutely incredible in this. There is a sadness to Poppy that from jump is just very palpable. And it really is because of Ilya Volok's Dark Valentine. She's a kid, and she wants to be a kid. And I say kid, even though she's, 24. But when you find out how long she's been in the circus, that she's been in the circus around the time she was 14. So she's been doing this, like, this is really all she's known for most of her life, the better part of a decade. And you go ahead and you tie in the fact that the mom isn't around. It's a lot on Poppy to go ahead and really kind of be as much of an adult, if not more so, than her dad is being. And that is the immediate friction that I think is very well understated early on. I know I use this term quite a bit on the show, but this is definitely, for me, the definition of a Jack-in-the-Box movie, where it just cranks the handle a little more. You just feel a little more tension, and a little more tension, and a little more tension. And so much of this comes from the fact that you find out that Dark Valentine wants Poppy to go ahead and run the circus, because this is as he puts it, it's a family business. And it ties into the whole aspect of the circus and the concept of, what we put on our kids versus, our family legacy, and how we define what our family legacy is. I know that pro wrestling, being a big pro wrestling nerd that I am, it's referred to as the modern day circus. And one thing that is just kind of nuts when you think about it, they talk about how they've done close to 5,000 shows together. And when I heard 5,000, I was like, oh my God, seriously? But when you think about that many shows, and, the fact that she was a kid when she started this versus to her being in her early 20s or, her mid 20s, and having her own desires, having her own wants, wanting to know what the world looks like outside of the ecosystem of working in the circus life and living that lifestyle. My heart just really broke for her. And the more the movie goes on and she just starts to discover things about this town that they're in that she really likes and wants to explore, and just, again, kind of just wants to be a kid and kind of do her own thing. It's one of those things where, of course, that's going to clash with what she knows. And, I mentioned Ilya Volok, obviously, to start the review off. He's amazing in this. because it's a very fine line to play the dad who is angry at their kid because of them not wanting to be who they want, but you also feel the love there. And early on in the film, it's just little stuff. There's a point where, he can't tie a balloon animal. That's not his bag. And so after he had already told Poppy to go ahead and do something, which she is focusing on doing, he goes, yeah, can you go ahead and tie, make a balloon animal real quick? And Poppy, rightfully so, kind of looks at him like, you just told me to do this. And he goes, oh, it'll just be a second. And the more you watch the movie, you find these little microaggressions that he is throwing at her, and you feel how restrictive it must be to work for him, let alone working for him for as long as she's been working for him. And it really does this make you want to give Poppy a big fucking hug. It's actually tragic in that way. She meets this guy played by Michael David Wilson, who's named Drew, who only interacts with Poppy because she is sent to go ahead and get some gas for this attraction that they have. And what's really quite fucked up about the whole situation is that Poppy's dad sends her to get gas like at midnight. And yeah, sure, they're in a small town, but I wouldn't walk somewhere in the middle of the night at midnight. Let alone sending your daughter. And it's one of those things too where she rightfully so is very like, I don't really want to do this. This seems dangerous. And he just blows it off like, oh no, it's fine. You'll have a cell phone. You have a truck. The truck doesn't work. So she literally takes a little red wagon and goes ahead and walks to this gas station, and Drew offers and gives her a ride. But that was something in particular I went, we're like 12 minutes into this, and the dad is already making me mad outside of the way he's talking to her, because that's just a dangerous situation to put your daughter in. Again, the fact that we live in a world where that is a dangerous situation is fucking terrible. Do not even get me started. But you have to know better than that as a parent. And you really start to see the wheels kind of falling off in that sense, because Poppy is very much the logistical aspect of this. She gets her dad, she gets the circus, but you can tell she doesn't really want to get the circus. She wants to develop her own skills. She wants to do her own thing. She just wants to know, it's very Little Mermaid in that sense, where it's like, I just want to see what life is like, independent of this. And the dad, he's so attached and angry about how their mom how his wife left, his former partner left, that he's taken that out on Poppy. And that, for me, this film is short. It's like 88 minutes. I would have liked maybe another 10, maybe 15, just to flesh out a little bit of the mom's story. I would have liked a little more just a little more background on that, because I think there's a fascinating story there, especially living this lifestyle that I think could have really been used to go ahead and enhance his anger and enhance Poppy's story. I just wish there was a little more on that. I haven't talked about him yet, but Danielle Bays is what I'm going to go with, who plays Lala Dean, and Erin Ray Lee, who plays Sadie. Those are Poppy's confidants, and I really like them. They're both very witty and charming and fun, and there's this really cool camaraderie between the three of them, where you can tell that Sadie and Lala, even though this is all they've known, that there is this point where maybe, just maybe, they might be having some of the same feelings that Poppy's having. And it's really interesting the way that their relationship goes ahead and works. They end up having a fight because they're friends, so of course they do. But that fight in particular, that's one of my favorite things about the movie, because once that fight happens and the way it happens, it's such a... One thing I loved about Booksmart, and I've talked about this on my review, is how natural that fight seemed, and that fight would only occur with someone that you knew so well. That's how this fight breaks down for me. It starts off kind of innocent, but there's this one thing that sets off the fight that lights the firecracker, and as soon as that thing happens, you're just kind of sitting there going, oh no, no, take the off ramp, and the movie does a great job of going ahead and facilitating that. One other thing a couple other things I want to shout out here. I can't find them on IMDb, but here we go. Alexa L. Borden and Connor Cook, who went ahead and they took care of the music. It's like synthy, gothic, whimsical carnival music is the best way I can put it. And it's haunting when it needs to be, and it's inspirational when Poppy is having, happier moments in the movie. I think the score is it's very understated for the most part, but once that score ramps up, I think it's horribly well done, and I wanted to shout them out because I thought they did a great job. I can't find it here, but the costumes, I really dug the costumes in this. When you see the costumes that are used for the circus and everything, it's really quite cool, and it gives you kind of that, takes you back to that film when you're 5 and there would be a makeshift circus that would pop up overnight somehow. It gives you that sort of vibe, and I really dug on the costumes quite a bit. There's one point where there's the circus gets vandalized, and the way that scene plays out as far as how the dad talks to Poppy and the way he addresses her, that's really where I just started to go, man, this dad sucks, and really takes her for granted. And it really ties in well to their conflict and the overall conflict of this film. And again, I really do just want to shout out Katherine Waddell. I think she does a great job here. As far as complaints, like I mentioned, I do wish there was a little more background on the mom, and I do wish I got a little more background on her friends. I do wish we would have gotten a little more time to learn about Lala and learn about Sadie, independent from Poppy. So that's where I think that additional 15 minutes would have been really nice. But at the same time, this really is Poppy's journey. It's not about the three of them. But again, I personally would have liked a little more, because I really like the camaraderie and the connection and the chemistry that the three of them have. So yeah, after watching this though, this is, as I mentioned earlier, this is a production of First Bloom Films, which was co-founded by M. Johnson and Katherine Waddell. And I really want to see more of their stuff. Their logo for said production company is actually really fucking cool. You can find that on the trailer for this. They show it. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a really, really nice drama. I really wouldn't mind seeing more of Poppy as a character. I really did enjoy her. So I'm going to give this a solid B. This is something that I'll probably end up buying. I don't know if they'll do a physical release of it, but this is one of those things I'll find on digital for $8 and go, $8, $9, $10 and go, yeah, I do want to own this. But really enjoyed this. I think this is well worth your time. And again, I'm excited to see what this production company puts out. It looks like M. Johnson and Katherine Waddell looks like they have 4 projects in the works, so we're going to be seeing more from this company, and yeah, I look forward to it. But this is a solid B for me. Really did enjoy this. So yeah, this doesn't come out till April 7th. So by the time you listen to this, I'm recording this in March, so it'll be a little while till you can watch it. But once this does come out, definitely check it out. So Balloon Animal. What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at jhunterrealpineapple. You can also follow me on Instagram at jhunterrealpineapple. That's jhunter and then REEL pineapple after that. You can go ahead and find the show pretty much everywhere. We're all over the place. You can find all of our information at linktr.ee/jhunterrealpineapple. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate the podcast. It definitely helps us out. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. You can like both our pages on Facebook at The Real Pineapple and Real Pineapple Games. Please don't forget to subscribe to us on Twitch as well. I'm going to be hopping on there soon. I'm excited. Still getting the home office set up, but I will be on Twitch here soon. You can find me on twitch.tv/jhunterrealpineapple. You can also find me, I mentioned Twitter, but it's actually The Real Pineapple, so apologies on that. And then, oh my gosh, where else? You can find me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam, and you can follow me on TikTok at Black Shazam 775. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We're going to have more reviews coming your way, including I'm going to start reviewing the Mission Impossible films leading up to Dead Reckoning Part 1. So I'll probably start that here early April. So go through and review every single one of those. I'm excited to go ahead and watch them start to finish. But yeah, we'll have that. We'll have some other stuff coming up. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon.